Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. It's Christine with Gauge Girls Training. In today's video, we're gonna talk about signs of sugar addiction. So let's get started. So I think it's fair to say that we all occasionally have a sweet tooth. However, in this video, I want to uncover some things that may suggest that your sweet tooth is actually more of an addiction, how to know the difference and what you can do about it. Now, sugar isn't just bad for your physique. There are studies that show that it can increase your likelihood of type 2 diabetes, the likelihood of obesity, as well as cardiovascular disease, and put you at risk for some cancers. Sugar addiction is a measurable physiological phenomenon that many people suffer from. And as a result, you guys, sugar addiction is absolutely no joke. When somebody is trying to come off of sugar, your body can have intense drug-like cravings, just as if you were trying to quit smoking, just as if you were trying to quit caffeine or a much harsher drug. And the problem is sugar addiction makes it more difficult for people to ultimately lose weight, because when they try to withdraw from sugar, it becomes harder and harder and harder because their body and their brains are naturally wired to crave it. So the first thing you want to consider if you may have a sugar addiction is, number one, you may hide your sugar habit. Just like any addict, if you are finding yourself hiding snacks, eating a lot of things alone by yourself because you don't want to be seen eating these types of things in front of people, this may be a sign of sugar addiction. Reality is nobody is going to be hiding broccoli. But if you find that you are hiding your snacks and hiding in stashes and putting things aside, it may be the sign of the beginning of a problem, if not a much longer problem. So number two, the next sign of a sugar addiction is that you need more and more and more to satisfy the craving. As with many addictive behaviors to substances, your tolerance for sweets may actually build over time. A telltale sign of sugar addiction is the need for more and more to satisfy the craving. And the reason for this is because your body becomes resistant to insulin. Every time you eat some carbs and some sugar, your body has a spike in your blood sugar. What's going to happen is your pancreas releases the insulin. That insulin is going to shuttle the glucose out of your blood and into your cells. That can't happen if your body is resistant to insulin. So what happens is you eat, your cells cannot receive the energy from the glucose because you don't have enough insulin to shuttle that inside the cells. The problem with that is you ate, but you're starving on the cellular level. So even though you ate a lot of food on cellular level, your body is still hungry because it didn't get the signal, hey, I just ate something. So what happens is your body releases more insulin and more insulin and more insulin to the point that you're not getting that energy, that glucose to go inside of your cells. And that's what causes people to store all these extra carbs as fat, because it's not getting to where it needs to be. And that is a huge problem. And this is why shifting away from carbs and going on some higher fat, lower carb style approaches helps some folks at first get out of that sugar addiction habit. So number three, another sign of sugar addiction is that when you try to quit, you actually have some unusual symptoms. This means some of the most common sign of sugar addiction symptoms is when you withdraw from sugar is you may have headaches, you may feel very lethargic, you may feel tired, you may have cravings, you may have muscle pain, nausea, bloating, even insomnia. For some folks, these symptoms will intensify in the first 24 hours. And the best way to cut back on your sugar is to cut back a little at a time if you don't want to have this intense, rude awakening. I'd say some practical steps would be to first stop drinking any sugar. So just first, do not drink your calories. Stop the sugary beverages, the sugars in your coffee, the sodas, all of those things, start there. And then slowly begin to attack your diet by substituting out sugary snacks for healthier snacks that are going to have more fiber, like some fruit. Even though, yes, fruit has sugar, but if you're eating candy bars and cookies and all of these things, beginning to swap some of these things out for fruit is going to help lower it a little bit. But then, there are sequential changes that you can make if this is a pressing issue for you to wean yourself off of sugar. I mean, you certainly can go cold turkey, but it's going to be pretty intense for the first 24 to 72 hours, so expect that. It gets better afterwards, but just don't be shocked if that happens. So number 4, if you find yourself using sugar to soothe your emotions, you may have a sugar addiction. The thing is, a psychological symptom of sugar addiction is when people continuously turn to sugar on a constant day in, day out basis to cope with the stress of life, to cope with boredom, to cope with psychological issues like anxiety, stress, depression. The thing is, you guys, indulging in sugar to acquire emotional relief is very unhealthy. Let me repeat that. Indulging in sugar to acquire emotional relief is unhealthy. It blocks your ability as a human to deal with your emotions in a healthy way and to actually face those problems. So number 5 is, you know the potential negative consequences of sugar, but you don't care and you eat sugar anyway. So if you continuously eat sugars and junk food compulsively, meaning you know it's bad for you, you know you are doing it in excess, you know you are inhaling it, but you decide, I do not care, I'm gonna do what I wanna do because this is what I wanna do and I wanna do it now. This is definitely an issue. And if you continuously find yourself going out of your way to find sugar, and you're making special late night trips to the gas station to get a pint of ice cream, or you need to take a harder look at your priorities, guys. And I know this is not a pleasant topic, and like any addict, I feel that sugar addiction is something that is overlooked as a problem because food is a more socially acceptable addiction as opposed to some harder drugs or some harsher behaviors. So guys, if you feel that this may be you, if you feel you may have a deeper problem with this, I do encourage you to get help. I do encourage you to address it and to face it head on. I hope this video was helpful. Please give this video a thumbs up and share it with a friend. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.